Dryden Park is an old classic golf course. It was built in the mid-50s. I think it opened in '56, and it was a partnership between the Dryden family, who donated part of the land, and the rest of it was owned by the city. It was the premier golf course in Modesto until about 1991, when they built and opened Creekside Golf Club. There's 3 golf courses in Modesto, which is the Muni, which is now operated by the city in a partnership with the First Tees of Central Valley. And then you have FM Golf that runs the facilities at Creekside and Dryden in partnership with the city. I've been dealing with Dryden, or playing golf at Dryden, for about 6 years since I've retired. And I find it to be a very enjoyable golf course. It could be a lot better. It's had its up and downs with the weather and this and that, just like everybody else, and the economy.
Something that I find indigenous to Dryden that I have not seen at other golf courses or parks, and that is other golf courses that I've attended, the guys love playing golf, and the ladies. They go out there, they love it. It's the beautiful greens and the fairways, and they rent their carts or they walk down the fairways with their handheld cart. But at Dryden, the people that I have talked to there, they are voracious about keeping that park. It's very different than other golf courses that I have had a chance to visit. What makes Dryden so precious to those people who golf there?
I think a lot of the people at Dryden have a great respect for Dryden, its history, and the way it's been for them in their golfing life. Modesto promotes Creekside as the premier golf course, as the newer golf course, and a lot of the people at Dryden feel that Dryden has taken second base to that aspect. They feel that Dryden gets short-sheeted a lot in budgets and the way the money's expended and improvements. So the people at Dryden, they love their golf course. They respect their golf course, and they take it personally when something doesn't go right for them.
From what I've heard, and I'm getting a lot of different stories, not only from the men's club, but from the city and from other golfers, and other golfers that just attend Dryden but aren't a part of the men's club. It seems like they are the victim of being bullied, and the bully in this case is the city of Modesto.
Well, it's not really just Dryden, it's just the golfing community is being bullied, in my opinion, simply because the city came out with this punch card system, and there's this assumption by the city that, well, first of all, there is approximately 600 annual pass holders, and this is all revolves around the annual pass and the sudden suspension of them. Based on an average, let's say, of $900 a year, that's approximately $540,000 a year just from the purchase of the annual passes. That doesn't include carts or anything else that those same people rent. That's strictly the passes. People want to know where that money went, where that $500 and some odd thousand is going. The suspension of the passes has got a lot of people confused, a lot of people angry.
Yeah, a lot of people. My phone has kind of been ringing off the hook with people who want to talk to me about what's going on with the city. So just to bring people up to speed, you have people who attend Dryden, who pay the green fees and they play the course. Right. Then you have the annual pass holders who basically it's like a gym membership. You pay a certain amount for the entire year and it's unlimited golf play Monday through Friday.
I won't say unlimited. It's limited to, depending on the pass that you buy. There's two ways you can go, several ways you can go. There's a Monday through Friday pass, and then there's a 7-day pass, which is a little bit more money, but it allows you to play on Saturday and Sunday after, I think it's 1 o'clock, 12 noon or 1 o'clock. And then you have the family membership and whatnot. it depends on what your personal need is, what your desire is.
And recently, I heard that the city of Modesto is going to suspend, or they did suspend, the sale of any future or renewal annual passes for 120 days.
Yeah, the claim is that if you read the article in the paper the other day, their claim is that 40% of the annual pass holders average $5.23 a round. Well, in order to get that kind of price, you would have to play 183 rounds of golf in the year, in the term of your pass. That's a little over 3 rounds a week for all 52 weeks. Now, with weather and holidays and
yeah, because you have blackout days too, right?
Yeah. And then there's holidays, there's tournament days and stuff like this that some people can't play. So I find that a little unreasonable. I am one of the fortunate people who can play quite a bit. So yes, I get my money's worth out of my pass. But I know a lot of folks that only play, they pay the same amount as I do, and they can only play twice a week. So, it depends. I go and if I ask somebody, how many rounds of golf did I play? They can't tell me. How many rounds do the annual pass holders play? They can't tell me. There doesn't appear to be any tracking system to come up with these numbers. So
when we check in the morning, they punch in our annual pass number. So that is to check that your pass is still current. Your number has been posted to their system. How come they can't tell us how many rounds each individual pass holder or pass holders as a whole have played for the year? They can't, or they won't. So our complaint is this number is being thrown out there that we're playing for $5 a round when we're not. I average 80 to 85 rounds a year. I know that from my postings on the NCGA computer. And I think I'm about average, to be honest with you. There are some guys that play more, and there's some guys that play less. So rather than use this $5 per round figure as the bellwether of that's what everybody's playing and we have to get rid of that, why don't we start at the beginning and find out what the actual numbers are? How much are we actually paying per round as a group of annual pass holders?
Gary mentioned a minute ago about the suspension of those passes and how many people have actually purchased annual passes. It comes to a little over $500,000. Do you see, and your question was, you want to know where the money's going, do you see that $500,000 is being put back into the golf course in the course of one full year?
Well, there's something funny about that, because in talking to city officials in the past, we have been told that the golf courses, the golfing community, sustains the golf courses. The problem is the $500,000 a year bond payment that the city says they're coughing up $450,000 a year to fund golf for that bond.
Now, was the bond taken out for Dryden specifically?
No. The original bond was a construction bond to build Creekside Golf Course. From some cursory research that I've done, it looks like it's been refinanced once or twice. I'm not real good at all this financial jargon and stuff, but just from what I've read, it appears to me that the city, just like a homeowner, has gone in and refinanced their mortgage, taken out the equity, and taken that money and bought something or built something or developed something else and put that money in the general fund or in some other fund to meet their needs. And now they're making the golf community pay for it, because originally it was a golfing bond.
So
now I may be mistaken, but that's what it appears to me.
What it sounds like is the original bond was for building another golf course, but since then it's been refinanced once or twice more for something else, yet the golf course, Dryden specifically, is not only paying for the original bond, but now it's also paying on the refinancing that who knows where that other money
Yeah.
went?
I came across a document today on the internet that shows a refinancing of a bond back in 2002, and it regards the community center,
Oh,
or the
Center
convention center.
Plaza.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Center Plaza, and they combined a couple of bonds for that money. And there was some talk. There was some mention of I think it was a new police department headquarters and whatnot back in 2002. My question is that where this $500,000 bond issue comes from? Did they take 2 or 3 debts, roll them in like a homeowner would, and roll them into another bond or mortgage? And in the financial statement for, I guess, 2010, it specifically states that the financial committee can choose where that money comes from to pay that debt. And they have chosen to saddle the golfing community with it.
In addition to the hundreds of geese that you find on your fairways every day, it sounds like Dryden specifically, and the golfing community in general, is the goose that lays the golden egg for the community. And it sounds like the city is getting ready to butcher that goose. Is that what your concern is? Not just over the annual pass, but do you think this is the first chunk that they're taking out and eventually they're going to take another chunk?
Yeah, to use another analogy, the goose that lays a golden egg is perfect. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, having Peter pay the original bill, plus everything else they've stacked up on top of it. Gary mentioned the convention center and some of the paperwork we found. Debt can be repaid from any source available to the city. Same thing is said about the golf courses. Debt can be repaid from any source. Yet it also stipulates quite clearly that the golf course will pay for itself with no outside help. So our question is, we're paying for ourselves. Who else are we paying for? How many parks have we built?
Do you have any financial figures from the city to find out how much revenue the golf courses has actually?
We can see the liabilities and assets coming in from golf. What we can't see is the $500,000 a year bond payment, where that comes from. What is the bond? What was the bond financed for? You know, where exactly is this bond coming from?
What I found recently, there are 2 bonds. One will be paid off in 2014. The next one will be paid off in 2023. So the question is the 2014 bond, was that the end of the original one?
You see, now I don't know.
See, and when I have not done this personally. There have been a number of our compatriots in the Modesto Golf Club who have asked city staff, city council directly these exact questions. The city staff and city council will not. They refuse to answer that question.
A lot of people have asked, when did you refinance it? What did you get out of it? And what did you do with the money? And we can't get an answer.
Where are you going to go from here?
We're fighting this tooth and nail because this is our second home. I met Gary 3 years ago when I joined the Modesto Golf Club. The friendships that we've both developed over the years as a member of the club and playing golf as much as we do are priceless. It's not just the game itself. It's the whole experience, the camaraderie. we just can't let that die. Today is an example. I've hurt my wrist recently and I can't play. The first casualty of the annual pass suspension is a friend of ours. His pass expires tomorrow. Today was the last day he can play on his pass. So I went out and caddied for him today. And that fella is not going to come back in protest of what the city's trying to do. Gary mentioned the punch cards earlier. Using the price of the punch cards, it either, depending on how much you play, either doubles or triples the rates you're playing per round now. I think this was a blatant effort by the city to shove the punch cards down our collective throats. The same fellow I'm talking about whose card expires tomorrow, went into Creekside on the 31st of March to renew his pass. He was told by the staff behind the counter that, no, don't do it today. You can't do it today. Come back on April 15th. Gary just told me a little while ago he found another example of a couple who went back to renew their family pass. Same situation. They were told, don't come back until April 15th. Something is happening here.
So you think that the city knew that this was coming down the
It was
pike?
in the pike.
But you guys weren't informed until it actually took effect,
Well,
right?
I attended back in the summer of 2011. The city of Modesto has what they call a city golf committee. It meets quarterly. Last year, Garrett Marsh took people from that committee and citizens from the golfing community and created another committee. And one day they met at, I believe it was in June of last year, at Creekside. And a friend of mine was on that committee, and I was just coming back into golf after an injury. And I was sitting there in the cafeteria where they were having their meeting, and I was listening. And Mr. March was, at that time, saying that he thought that the annual pass was too cheap and that he would do away with them. Well, Mr. Marsh is now Mr. Mayor, and it has happened. So when he got elected mayor, I was kind of waiting for this because of his comments that he made last summer. I didn't quite expect him to quit.
The timing of this is perfect. The number 1 and 2 months for purchases and renewals of annual pass is April and May. So they waited till it was going to affect the most people. If they say all of a sudden, okay, because there's 200 people this month in April whose passes will expire, their only option is to buy the punch card.
Basic rule of management theory is that if you want something to fail, you increase their liabilities, responsibilities, and you depreciate their assets. And that's what I see going on here.
Do you think that there is a force behind this? I asked Casey a few minutes ago about a maniacal force behind the water issue. Do you think that there's a maniacal force behind getting rid of the annual pass? I mean, obviously one is the punch cards cost more, but do you think that they're ultimately trying to close down?
I don't think that they're trying to close down Dryden because the agreement that the Dryden family had with the city is the land can only be used for a golf course. That means if they try to use it for a park or anything else, it goes back to the Dryden family. So I see them retaining Dryden Park as a golf course. What I see changing is the way annual passes are dealt with. I think if you ask the majority of annual pass holders, there's been very little increase over the years in the annual pass. To save the program, because a lot of the guys are retired and have fixed incomes, if they raised the cost of the annual pass even substantially, I don't think a large part of the community would mind. Yeah, you're going to have some people grumble and moan and groan because that's what we do. But for the most part, I think that the golfing public would realize that the city's trying to do the best they can. On the other hand, if the city comes back and says that, yeah, we're going to sell you a pass, but it's only going to be good for X number of rounds, then it's no longer an annual pass. It's a punch card.
The interesting thing, too, is Mayor Marsh announced that he wanted to get rid of the annual pass. The city, no one from the city has come to the golf course to talk to us to say, hey, we've got a financial problem here. How can we together work this out? How can we make you happy and make us happy? All they do is sit in their ivory tower and declare this is what's going to happen. They really don't know what's going on at the golf course.
Well, it brings me to a question that I asked you a few minutes ago. Where do you go from here? Do you plan on storming that ivory tower?
Right now, we have to wait and see. They said that for the next 120 days, they're going to look at their options and reevaluate the pass program and see what they can come up with. Okay, that's what they said. Let's give them 120 days and see what they do. At the end of that 120 days, we need to revisit the issue and see where we're at. But the consensus right now is they announced on April 4th that they were ending the annual pass program for 120 days for reevaluation. In the last 3 days, you've got an offer from River Oaks for $500 a year for unlimited play.
And that's in series, I believe.
That's
right?
in series. And today's paper has a big ad from Turlock Country Club. You buy 6 months, we'll give you the other 6 months. And I'm looking for maybe Manteca, Tracy Golf and Country Club, Atwater, some of these other courses around here. They're looking at Modesto going, there's some income. These people are angry. Here's some income.
Are you going to go talk to the city council? I believe that they don't have a meeting tomorrow night.
Right. The next meeting's on the 24th. There are a number of us are going to go to that meeting and let them know that we're there. We've also created a page on Facebook called Occupy Dryden Park. The idea of that page is to inform people of information that we found, what people can do individually or as a group, because we are united in this cause. We're not unrealistic at all. If we need to come up with a little bit more money, that's fine. But the way it's being handled right now.
And one other point, too, I'd like to make is that even though Kurt and I, our home course is Dryden, this involves all the golfers in this community, Creekside, Muni, and Dryden. It's not just us. Anybody who owns a pass and plays golf in Modesto at any of the 3 courses is involved in this. And they need to step up and show support for what we're trying to do.
Have you talked to the other golf courses or golf clubs? Does Creekside and Muni also have a golf club?
Creekside does. Muni, I don't believe, does. They have a women's group down there, I believe, but that's I don't know how big they are or when they meet.
This just happened a week ago, so we're still in the process of getting organized.
Yeah, did you just show up one day and the poster was on the door saying, guess what? No
Yes.
more annual.
Yeah.
Exactly. The employees in the pro shop weren't even aware of it.
The head pro went to work last Tuesday morning, and when he turned on the computer, that's when he found out this happened.
And then a city employee came down and gave him a poster to put on the door, effective immediately.
Occupy Dryden Park on Facebook. And where can we find you and you? You got an email address or something that we can contact you at?
Kurt Abell at Comcast.net.
And Gary White's at SBCglobal.net.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and the best of luck when you go to talk to the city.
Thank you.
I hope that you can rally the troops like that dog can rally the geese out on the fairway.
We'll keep you posted.
Okay, thank you very much.